So, we're talking about Matt Damon, the sexy Matt Damon. I had to get my shirt off. I was getting so hot. We gotta talk about sexy Matt Damon up in here. Stick tuned if you haven't clicked the close button. We're gonna go into the top 5 Matt Damon films. So if you didn't click the close button, I'm Best Guy, and today we're doing the top 5 Matt Damon films. Again, very much similar to Denzel Washington. He has a lot of good movies and very little bad ones. So it was hard to put this into a condensed 5 list of best movies of all time for Matt Damon. But here at Best Top 5, we do the impossible for you. Like me standing here in front of you, where I'm pretty sure you don't watch these videos, but it's okay. I'm here for your entertainment. So an honorable mention is a movie called Stuck on You. I don't care what you say, but I like this movie. This movie's great. It's funny. It makes me laugh every single time. But no, in all seriousness, we're going to go into the 5 films that I think are solid, good movies from Matt Damon. So number 5 is a movie that was directed by the same guy who did District 9, Neil Blomkamp. And that movie is Elysium. So Elysium tells the story of Matt Damon in this world that's pretty much, you have the rich and you have the poor. There's really no middle class, and the rich live in this big society up in space, and the poor have to pretty much live in the dumps. But Matt Damon is going to strive, and he's going to kick the rich people's ass. So it has really good visual effects. I'm surprised at how well this movie was made, that I don't know why the director of this film hasn't gone on to make other films. I know he did do Chappie afterwards, but since then he was supposed to do the next Alien film. That didn't happen. What a shame, because Elysium is such a good movie. Most people don't put this movie in the top 5 list. I think it's a solid science fiction film. Like when I hear someone like James Cameron saying, "Oh, there hasn't been great sci-fi movies since Avatar." Really? There's been so many, and Elysium is one of them. Number 4 is The Talented Mr. Ripley, which is a remake of a film that starred Alain Delon, which is an adaptation from a book. And here's the curious thing, I've seen both films. The film with Alain Delon is called Purple Noon, and the one with Matt Damon is called The Talented Mr. Ripley. And they're very, very similar. But Matt Damon does a great job playing an eloquent, seductive creep. And it's weird to put those creep and seductive and eloquent all together in one phrase, but it's what describes his character. So Matt Damon plays a guy who is obsessed and he is envious of this guy's life. He has a great girlfriend, he has a nice boat, he has a great life. So, spoiler alert, he has to find a way to get rid of him, and he does. And he takes over his life. And that's all I'll tell you, because it's not really much of a twist, because it happens within the first act. And then from there on, everything goes into a completely different direction that you may not expect. I like this movie. It was released in 1999. It was one of the better films from 99, unlike Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace. I'm going to find an excuse to mention how terrible Phantom Menace was and how disappointing it was. But Talented Mr. Ripley was a really, really good movie that I've seen not too long ago. I probably rewatched it within the last year, and it still holds up. Great cinematography, has a good acting from Jude Law and Gwyneth Paltrow. Jude Law plays the guy that has everything, and Matt Damon plays a guy who is very charming, very good looking, but he is a psychotic creep. Highly recommended. If you can find it on DVD or Blu-ray, check it out. Number 3 is a movie directed by Ridley Scott, and no, I'm not mentioning Alien Covenant or Prometheus, even though those movies are god-awful. Ridley Scott managed to make a really, really good sci-fi movie, and that was The Martian, starring Matt Damon. Matt Damon plays a guy who is in Mars, and he has to find resources to stay alive. And this movie is not only a science fiction, but it's also a comedy. It's actually very entertaining and very funny. Damon gives an amazing performance. He plays a believable scientist who is trying to find ways to stay alive. And again, this goes back to what I was saying about James Cameron saying that there's no great sci-fi movie since he made Avatar. Give me a break. And Martian was another one that was amazing, unlike his Pocahontas ripoff in space. This is what I like about science fiction movies. Like, take me to a world that I can believe in, and I can get sucked into this world. If I can't relate to the characters, then why am I even watching it? With The Martian, I can relate to every character, those who are here on Earth, and of course Matt Damon, who's up in space. Not really a spoiler, because I'm not going to say exactly what happens, but Matt Damon faces 2 similar scenarios in both this film and Interstellar. I won't say what they are, but they're very extremely similar. So that is my number 3. Number 2 is The Departed. This is a film where he plays a villain. And you also have other actors, great actors in here. You have Leonardo DiCaprio, you have Mark Wahlberg, you have Martin Sheen, you have Jack Nicholson. You have so many great actors in this picture. And this is a remake of Infernal Affairs. I mentioned this in my top 5 remakes, and I'm going to find ways to always mention this movie. It's a movie that should be watched. I remember meeting someone who said that they thought this movie was boring. I don't know what you're talking about. This movie is great. It's a great crime film. It's a great movie, period. I don't need to go into details what this movie's about, but if you like movies like Goodfellas, if you like crime movies like even American Gangster that I mentioned in another list, watch Departed because it's so good. Damon gives a great performance, a very believable and layered villain. Number 1 is a movie that he got an Academy Award for Best Screenwriting, and that is Good Will Hunting, starring Matt Damon and Robin Williams. It also has Ben Affleck, and it has other actors that you probably do recognize. This is a very, very well-written film about a guy who's extremely talented, but he's also very troubled. And you have Robin Williams' character who's there to help him. Believe it or not, I had someone, actually my screenwriting professor, say that Robin Williams is the villain in this film. I'm sorry, I have no clue what she's talking about. This is my screenwriting professor. Yeah, he's a villain because he's the one stopping him from progressing. And I'm like, did you even watch this movie?
Isn't he the one helping him?
He's the one helping him.
Helping him progressing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's saying that he's the villain. Like, the villain is himself.
The villain is Casey Affleck just because he looks like a douchebag.
Well, yeah, but no, in reality it's himself because he's not confident enough in his abilities to become a better person. He's the one detaining himself. So it's not Robin Williams. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Hopefully she doesn't watch this video. But then again, who watches Vest Top 5 anyway? Everyone is watching ODG.
Not me.
Yeah. Well, you do because you're editing it, motherfucker. So that's my number 1. I love this movie. I own this on Blu-ray. I watch it several times throughout the year. This is one of those movies that you can relate and see the struggles. Even if you've never been someone who has photographic memory, you are in the world that Matt Damon is. You are living his struggles, trying to relate to other people. It's an extremely well-written movie. I love it. And those are the top 5 Matt Damon movies of all time. And of course, you have to see Stuck on You. You gotta see that one. Anyway, I'm Vest Guy. Make sure to click, like, and subscribe. And applesauce, bitches.